Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to this workshop on Introduction to Git and GitHub. And I'll be waiting for just 5 to 7 minutes more so that some more students can join, and then I'll be starting with it. And this video is getting recorded, so please maintain the decorum. Okay, so many students have joined with us, and now we are good to go. So before we begin, a brief introduction about me. My name is Arpit Gupta, and as you can see, I am a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, because of which I'm hosting this workshop. And I'm a second year IT engineering student at Maharaja Agrisen Institute of Technology at Delhi. So first, let's see the scope of this workshop. What we will cover is firstly about what exactly is Git and GitHub. So if you have just heard about these two words and have no idea, so this is the right place. And next we will see that why do we actually need them? Like, do we really need them? And next we will cover Git installation and some basic Git commands. Like I will discuss some basic, the most basic Git commands which are generally talked about and the one which you will be most frequently using. And then after all this theoretical part, I will be having a GitHub hands-on session in which I will be telling about all the theoretical part which I discussed before the session, and I will demonstrate that practically on my machine. Okay, so let's begin. So first of all, we need to know what a version control system is, because actually Git is basically a version control system. So if I just defined you people like that Git is a VCS, Git is a version control system, you guys would be like that, what exactly is a version control system? So first we need to know about it. So a version control system is basically a way to manage files and directories. And by manage, I mean that you can track all the changes over time which you have made to a file, and also you can recall the previous versions of a project. So that is the power of a version control system, and it is super necessary if in case you are working with an organization, because there are large projects and thousands of developers are working on a single project. So who made what changes at what time, these all need to be taken care of. So that is why a version control system is necessary. So Git, as I told you, is a version control system which we use to track changes in our computers, in our computer files. So it was created in 2005 by Linus Torvalds, and you might have heard his name because actually he was the inventor of Linux as well. So Git is a distributed version control system. Now I told you that it is a VCS, but what does this distributed word here means? So it means that to contribute to a single project using a version control system, you need not to be on a same server or a same network. Like you can be on different networks and still contribute to that project. So Git gives you that power being a distributed version control system. It also lets you, not also actually, it lets you coordinate work between different developers. So as I told you, like it's a single project and many developers across the globe want to contribute in that. So you can actually coordinate and contribute work on that particular project. You can keep track of who made what changes and when, as if there is a large organization and there are many people working on the same thing. It can be a bit messy to keep track of what changes are made by whom and when. So Git lets you do that. You can even revert back all the changes which you did at any time. You can restore a previous version. Also, we use actually basically Git for creating a channel between remote repositories and local repositories. So now don't worry if this all was intimidating to you. I will talk about this more in future slides. Now let's also see what exactly is GitHub. So just a second. So GitHub is a repository hosting service for Git. Now, if you have not heard this word before, repository, don't worry, I'll be discussing about it also in the next slide. But for now, you can just consider that repository is a place where you keep all your project files. It's a single place where all you keep all your project files. Okay. So Git is a command line tool, whereas GitHub is a web-based graphical user interface. So you might be knowing the difference between these two. So I'm moving on, and GitHub works on top of Git. So it can be, and yeah, it can also be treated as a social platform to share knowledge and work. Like if you have some valuable piece of code or you have done a great project which you want to share with others, you can just create a repository on GitHub and share your entire source code of that project so that others can also view that and even contribute on that. Okay, so it was launched in 2008, and today GitHub is the most popular, repository hosting service used to collaborate on project from anywhere. And the best thing is that Git and GitHub both are free to access. There are other repository hosting services as well, like Bitbucket, but GitHub is the most famous one. So now, yeah, let's see what exactly a repository is if you have not heard this word before. So a repo is basically a short form for repository only, and a repository is just like a container where you keep all your project files or the source code of your project. Okay, so a single repository is basically used to organize a single project only. Like you cannot, dump 2, 3 project files in a single repository. You want to host a project, you create a repository, and put all your project files into that repository. So a repo can contain files, folders, images, videos, spreadsheets, documents, datasets, anything. Basically, like anything that your project needs. And as I said, common repository hostings, which are very famous today in the market, are GitHub and Bitbucket. But GitHub is still the most used one. So here I have a picture which demonstrates how Git and GitHub work together in a very easy and basic manner. So you see this photo over here, GitHub, a remote repository on GitHub. One more thing, when I will say remote repository, it will mean the original copy of the project, which is actually hosted on GitHub. And when I say local repository, this is the copy of the project which you have cloned from GitHub to your local machine so that you can modify it. So this is the remote repository on GitHub, and you can anyone can clone it in their personal machines if your GitHub repository is public. So why would you even clone the repository? Only if you want to contribute or modify that file. Like if you are in an organization and their source code is hosted on GitHub, so you will ask access for that repository, you will clone that repository files into your local machine, and then you will modify it as per the needs of the company. Okay, so as you can see, there are three, contributors right now to this repository: Chance, Marias, and Angelos. So they create a local clone of that repository and then modify it and push or pull whatever they as needed using Git. Okay, so we will talk about this in this workshop. Don't worry. So now it's time to see some very basic commands of Git. I know you now have some, a rough idea of what Git and GitHub are exactly and why they are used. So as I said, Git is a command line interface. So it is used via command line or terminal. So these are very basic Git commands which you will be using. And the good thing is that these commands are the ones which you will be using like almost 80% of the times. You don't need to use any other command, like if you have very specific purpose. So the first one is git init, and as you might have guessed, the init is the short form for initialize. So git init basically initializes a Git repository into your local machine. Like if you have a project folder and want to upload it on GitHub repository, first you need to initialize a Git repository in it. So you will run git init. The second most basic command is git clone URL. Here the URL is of the repository which you want to clone from GitHub. So supposingly I have created a project and hosted on GitHub and you want to contribute in it. So you want a local copy of that repository in your local machines. Okay, so you will run git clone the URL of that repository in your local machine so that a copy of that URL of that repository will be created in your machine and you will be able to modify it. Okay. So git status is a very basic and useful command which tells us the current status of all the files present in our local repository, whether they are staged, unstaged, or ready to be committed, and all those stuff. This git status tells us. I'll show you the working of all these commands in the hands-on session part. Okay. Next, git add and file name. So the git add command adds the files to the staging areas. Now what the staging area is, I'll tell you in the next slide. Don't worry. For now, just keep in mind that before committing a change, you need to first add that to the staging area and then you commit the changes. Okay, so the next basic git command is git commit. Git commit is the most important and most widely used command which actually you use to commit the changes which you have done to a repository. Like you clone a repository, did some modification, and now you want Git to take a snapshot of that change which you did. Like I told you that using Git you can track versions, you can modify, you can even restore a previous version of that change which you did. So this git commit is the point where Git actually takes a snapshot of a commit which is done. So once you modify the files, you add them to the staging area and then hit git commit so that the changes get committed. And then we have get push and get pull. So how get push and get pull work? They actually, if you are working on a repository and have modified a file, did you committed the changes, but still the changes will not reflect in the GitHub repository, in the remote repository. They will not be reflected. If you want those changes to be sent there, then you run get push. And if you want to receive the changes from the GitHub repository, which might someone else have pushed from their local machine, then you run git pull. Okay, so I'll show you how these commands works later. So a small note about the okay, I did not mention the git message. Like in the git commit command, you always have to pass a message. Like you can see git commit -m message. This message is basically about what the commit actually consists of, like what change you have done and what you want to commit. So the the commit messages need to be meaningful. Like they actually tell what it does in present tense. A single line summary followed by a blank space and then followed by the complete description of the change is usually a good practice, and it should be kept within less than 72 characters. So I have added two examples, like if you are fixing a typo in a GitHub repository and just committing it and pushing it. So at that time, if you are adding a commit message like fix a typo, so that is a bit irrelevant and a bad commit message example. So a good one would be you added a missing slash in the styles.css file. So you have to include the relevant details in the commit messages so that they can be easy to be tracked later in future if required. Okay, so these are the three stages in Git while modifying a file. The first one is modified. When you clone a repository from GitHub, then you suppose you modified a file, like you change some content of a file. So, and if you then run git status, it will show you that a file is modified. So it is the first stage. It shows the changes made in a file. Okay, now you cannot commit the changes made right now. You first need to send those files to the staging area. So the second stage is the place where you have to send your files so that they can be committed. So then you, after modifying the files, you run git add so that all the files are then sent to the stage area, and after that you commit the changes which you've done. And that is the point when a snapshot is taken by git, and the change which you did is actually is like it's actually committed by you. Okay, so this is the basically workflow. You first modify a file, send them to the staging area, and then run git commit so that the changes are committed. So this is the git flow which I was talking about in the previous slide. I have in detail explained this. So once you have cloned and made some changes in your local repository, after that you have to do the following steps in order to reflect the changes which you have done to the public repository in GitHub. Okay, so first you add the files to the staging area after modifying them. You run git add and star. Star basically sends all the files to the staging area. So then you run git add stars to add all the files to the staging area. After that, you commit these changes by running git commit -m and a message. Okay, once these changes are committed, you are ready to push the code to the GitHub repository. But there is an important step which you always have to do before pushing your changes to the remote repository, and that is pulling existing changes from remote repository. Suppose you have done like you have modified a index.html file and you added ABC in the line 1 of that file. And for example, if some other person also modified the same file and on line 1 of that file, he wrote EDF, for example. If both of you will push the changes at that point of time, Git will get confused that Git should keep changes of which user, since you both have edited the same file. So it is a good practice to always pull the changes before you are pushing the changes, so that your local repository is always updated with the latest changes. So after adding the files, you commit changes, then you pull existing changes from the remote repository, and then you push the changes by running git pull origin master and git push origin master. Master is basically the default branch which is created by GitHub when you create a repository. Just a second. Yeah, so this diagram basically describes what all I have told you till now. So in this pink box, you can see it is written work directory index but unstaged file. This shows that you have cloned the repository, but there are, and you have also modified some files, but you have not sent them to the staging area yet. So after that, after modifying the files, you run git add. Then in this yellow box, you can see the files are staged now. After the files are staged, you run git commit. And once you have committed the changes which you have done, in the green box, you can see committed to local repository. These changes are committed, but in your local repository. Now, if you want these changes to be reflected in the, the public repository, the GitHub, then you run git push. So these changes will be pushed to the remote repository. This is the general Git flow which you have to follow. And as you might have guessed, there is directly Git push. So it is a good practice that you should always run Git pull before pushing. So enough of theory. Now we will see how we can install Git. So you can simply visit this link, https git-scm.com/downloads, and on this link, the download links are available for all the three mostly used platforms like Windows, Linux, and macOS. So let me show you. This is the link. Here you can hit Mac OS X, Windows, or Linux US as per your operating system, and you can simply install Git. So once you have installed Git, just a second. So yeah, now is the time for the Git and GitHub hands-on session. So I'll be demonstrating what all I told you on my local machine. So just to verify that you have Git properly installed on your machine, you can just search for this application, Git Bash. I'm sorry. Yeah, this one, Git Bash. So if you have properly installed Git, you will have this application installed in your Windows machine. But if you are on Linux or Mac OS, you will not see this Git Bash application in your the search console. You can directly run the terminal, and the terminal is the one. It's actually exactly same like Git Bash on Windows. So you can Linux and Mac OS users can open terminal, and the Windows one can open Git Bash. So just to verify that Git is properly installed, you can simply run git --dash version. And it will show you the currently installed version of Git. So if this command gives you some error, so there is some problem in the installation of your Git. So I will request you to uninstall it and install it again. Okay, so now let's create a GitHub repository. One second. Yeah, so let's go to github.com now. And now I will create a repository, a new repository, and then I will show you by running all the commands which I told you till now. So one second. So as you can see, I'm right now logged in. If you are visiting github.com for the first time, I would request you all to make an account, and then you will see a page similar to this. So here you will see a green button which says a new repository. When it is actually used to create a new repository. So right now I'll be creating one. So this is the page to create a new repository. Here you will see your name if you have signed in, and let's enter a repository name. In my case, it would be a demo repo. Okay. You can add a description to this repository. And you can make it public as well as private, but I recommend it making public so that anyone of you can contribute to it. If you make it private, then it will not be visible to anyone apart from you. So we will add a readme file and we will create this repository. So as you can see, this repository is now created, and you can see this initial commit by me since I created this repository. And this is the README file which we have in this repository. This is the only file which we right now have in this repository. Now, suppose someone has to work on this, like someone has to modify the existing project which is in this repository, or someone wants to, contribute to this. So the first step which I told you was to git clone. Let's relate with this. The first thing was git clone. So to clone a repository, hit this green button and copy this link. This is the repo link. You need to copy it. Then create a new folder in which you want the repository. Let's give it a name. Or maybe local repository. Go inside this folder, and then inside this directory, you need to open git bash. So if you are in Windows, you will see this, but if you are on Mac or Linux, just open the terminal and navigate to this directory only. Okay, so git bash here. I will see the git terminal now. And now I need to run git clone and the URL which I copied. Okay, so this will create a local copy of the GitHub repository which I just created. And as you can see, this executed successfully. So if we do an ls now, we have a directory as demo repo. So let's go into it, and here's it. You can see that right now there is nothing in this repository except the readme file, which was here also, the readme.md. Okay, so now you are a contributor to this repository. Okay, so you want to create some new files or maybe modify some files. So in our case, since there is no file, we will create a new file. So let's create an index.html file. And let's also create a CSS file. So let's add some content to the index file so that you can relate much better. So let's create a basic HTML structure. Let's also link the CSS file to it. And let's also add some content to the styles file. So let's give some color to the H1. Make it red. Okay, so let's see how it looks. Okay, so we have created this files. Okay. Now inside this repository, now always you will open the terminal or git bash inside the repository folder. Like if you have some directories here, do not open the terminal inside those repositories. You will always open the terminal. I'm sorry, inside the repository folder which you have cloned. Okay, So let's clone it. Sorry. Let's see what exactly the status is right now, since we have added and modified two files. So let's run git status. And as I said, this command tells the status of all the files. So it says right now there are untracked files. And those are index.html and styles.css. So as I told you that first, before committing the changes, we need to send the files to the staging areas. So the command which was to send the files to the staging areas was git add. So we will add all these files to the staging areas, and we will use git add star to send all the files to the staging area. So let's run this, and it executed. Let's clear the screen. Now if we run git status again, let's see what is the status of the files now. So now it says your branch is up to date with origin master and changes to be committed. Before it was saying that files are untracked, but now they are in green color. That means we have added the files to the staging areas. There are no more modifications and changes are ready to be committed. So we are good to go. And now we will commit the changes which we have done. Okay, so git commit -m. We'll add a message. So this was our first commit. I know this is not a good, commit message, but this is for demo purpose. So let's go with it. And I'll hit enter. And as you can see, the commit happened. So now if we run git status, let's first clear the screen. You can now see it says nothing to commit, working tree clean. So we actually committed all the changes which we done. But now let me show you. We actually committed the changes, but still they are not shown in our remote repository. So why is this so? This is because the changes which you will commit will not be shown here, but the changes which you will push to the remote repository, they only will be showed. So right now we not have pushed the changes, we only have committed the changes. Now if we want those changes to be reflected in the remote repository, we will now run git push. And as I told you before running git push, it is a good practice to always run git pull. Although I know that there is no contributor of this project right now, so this branch will be up to date, but still I should run git pull since it is a good practice. So git pull origin master. Origin is the alias name of this repository in my local machine right now, and master is the default branch. So we are not using any other branch right now. That is why I've written master. So let's pull the code. And as you can see, it says already up to date. There are no changes. Okay, so now we are ready to push the code. So git push origin master. Oh, okay. And yeah, as you can see, the push was successfully done. So now let's see if our changes are getting reflected in the remote repository. And voila, they are. There are two files, index.html and styles.css, which we created and pushed from our local machine, and now they are visible on the public repository as well. And you can see the commit message as our first commit. You can even verify them by opening that file, and you can see it's the same file which I created. Now let me show. Now actually you know how to modify and push the code to the remote repository. Now let me show you some more commands. Like first, let me clear the screen. Like for example, if you want to rename a file, then you will run git mv, the current name of the file. For example, I want to change the name of index.html to home.html. So to rename a file, you will run this command git mv. And now if we do an ls, you can see there are three files in this directory: home.html, readme.md, and styles.css. The index.html file is now renamed as home.html. Also, if you want to delete a file, then you will run git rm RM stands for remove, dash F forcefully. Let's delete the styles.css file. I don't think we need it. So now let's run it and let's do an ls. And you can see the styles.css file is now not in our directory. But one second. But again, if you see in the local, in the remote repository, the styles.css file is still there and the index.html file is not renamed. So why is this so? Because we have not committed and pushed the changes. So now it's time to commit the changes. Git. For now, let's give the message as did some changes. Commit successful. Now if we run git status, okay, typo. You can see there's nothing to commit, working tree clean. And now let's push the changes. Push successful. Now let's see. And now you can see the index.html file is now renamed to home.html in our remote repository, and also the styles.css file is here no more. Now we have cloned a repository to our local machine. We modified it. We created new files. We committed changes. We sent that. We pushed the code to the remote repository. But what if we want to pull the changes? Since there is actually no contributor except me, that is why I can't show you an example of actual pulling, but I can add a file to this repository myself and then pull it to the local repository. So I'll show you that. Here I will create a new file. Let's now again create a styles.css file, but this time in our remote repository. Let's give h1 some color. And let's commit this file. So I created a styles.css file in the remote repository. So as you know, this will not get reflected here automatically. And it is not a good idea. And it is also not a good idea to clone the repository again and again. So now what we will do is we will pull the changes from the remote repository. So this time we will do git pull origin master. And you can see we pulled some content from the repository. Now let's see what we have got. If we do an ls, you can see now we have the styles.css file back in our local machine. So here is it. And if we run the home.html file, you can now see that the hello world is not red anymore. It's blue now. Okay, so you now know how to clone a repository. You know how to modify it, modify the files in it. You know how to commit changes, how to push changes, and you can even pull changes from the remote repository if some other contributor has done that. Okay, great. One more command which I wanted to tell you about was git log. The git, as I told you, git status. The git status tells you the status of current files, and if you want to know, if you want to get a list of all the commits which you have done, then there is a command that is git log. Let me clear the screen. The git log commands will show you all the commits which you have done on this repository, and here are they. So first we did our first commit. After then we did some changes, if you remember, and then we created styles.css. So great, you now have good knowledge of Git and GitHub. Thank you everyone. This was all from my side. If you want to ask any questions, like you are welcome. You can ask me right now. Okay, so there are no questions. That means that I explained really well. So I hope you might have got good knowledge of Git and GitHub, and it would be great if you start implementing this in your real life. So that was all from my side. And thank you everyone once again for being a participant of this workshop. Thank you.